Hey everybody, this is QiWiz, and I just want to do a practical demonstration of my new ultralight Esbit system. So I've got it set up outside, and I've put together 1/3 of a pouch banana walnut muffin mix. I've added some extra pecans and a little bit of Nido whole milk to that. So the first step is actually going to be to literally mix up our mix. And in order to do that, I've got a little water in my pot. You can either measure this carefully or just kind of do it by eye. In my case, I've kind of done this enough by eye to know kind of what I need. And so rather than get my spoon dirty, I'm just going to put that in and then just mix it around. I'd rather add a little more water if I need to, so I tend to add a little bit less in the beginning and see how things mix up. Okay, so I've got my mix all mixed up here, and so the next thing I want to do is put together my pan, and this is my pan, so I'm just going to fold these corners in, kind of see how I've done that. And what I'm trying to do is create a square pan that'll fit in my pot. So once I've got the corners pinched, kind of want to bring them up into that square shape. And once I'm happy with that, try to make the sides either vertical or just sloping out a little bit. And then to fit in my pot, I just need to kind of bend them over a little bit like so. And then I like to put a little bit of something like oil, or if I have it, butter or margarine, just to help things not stick too much. So I've got a little oil here, and I'm just going to pour a little oil in. And then I'm just going to spread that around with my finger, kind of get the inside greased up. This is not a precise operation, obviously, but you just get a little bit of grease in it. Okay. And the next step is to pour my mix in. The way I like to do this is just to take a corner of the bag and cut that. You can use whatever you have. Don't have to use a bush knife to do it. But basically, you create a hole in the corner, and then you just squeeze your mix out into your pan. And this tends to be, if you're careful, not too messy in terms of getting things on you or your clothing or anything like that. I find I can kind of use my fingers to sort of strip the bag down too, and that's a good way to go. Really get just about all the mix out of the bag. Get those nice pecans down in there. Okay, so I've now got my mix in my pan and ready to bake. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get my stove lit, and I've got my fire ring burner with the air inlets facing up, and I'm just going to go ahead and light the Esbit cube from underneath. That tends to work the best. And then put the tripod stand over top and start to add the wind protection of the FireFly that I've made into a part windscreen. And then I have my windshield as well that's going to go on the remaining part. And then I'm going to take my X support, get rid of the water in my pot, put that in the bottom of my pot, and then put my baking pan in. So that's what that looks like when it's all in place. And then I'm just going to set that on top of the tripod and kind of snug everything up. And put the lid on my pot. And then I'm going to come back in about a half an hour and see how the muffin came out. Well, as you can see, because the wind sort of changed directions on me, I had to move the windshield to the other side and sort of rearrange things, but I didn't lose much heat during the burn. I did that pretty quickly. Okay, just a quick update. I checked it after about a half an hour, and the briquette was nearly burned up, still burning at a low level, but the muffin was still a little moist in the middle, so I decided to give it a little bit extra time, and I put an extra half of an Esbit brick on to give it about another 15 minutes. Okay, time to see what we've got. Just take everything off. Still got a little fire going. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this. But there's still a little fire there. So we've basically had about 45 minutes or so, tab and a half baking. I found with cornbread that 1 tab generally does it, and with muffins sometimes I need a tab and a half. Not totally sure why that is, but that seems to be the pattern. So there's no elegant way to take this out. So there's our muffin. Looks pretty well done. A little hot. So just have to fold these corners out. Something like a little, like I usually use my little spoon to do this. Sometimes you have to knock some of these crumbs off, but you sure don't want to lose them. They're all tasty. Okay, so having unfolded the corners, kind of gotten rid of my crumbs, then I just want to fold down the sides. So this is where the baking pan really is nice, because it's easy to get the muffin away from the baking pan. I'm just going to do a little sampling here. Oh, that's tasty. And if we look at that, it's done all the way through, not burned on the bottom. So really very nice. About 3 inches by 3 inches by 1.5 inches. Pure muffin. So I'm going to enjoy that. You have a good time with your next trail adventure. And think about ultralight Esbit baking.